Hello everybody. I wanted to come on today, and this is going to be a little bit different video, even though it's a spiritual, witchy, whatever video. I have my sidekick here, by the way, that my husband made me, for those of you that haven't seen it. I did get him to agree to make some more. I say some more. I was pushing for 2 or 3. I think he's going to make one more. Not exactly like this. A little similar in a way, but not exactly like this, because all of his sculptures are one-of-a-kind pieces. So I wanted to come on today and just tell a little bit about myself. Now, I wanted to talk about my practice, my gift, my spiritual side. And this is actually started way back, I don't know, 10 years old, a little bit before 10 years old, around 10 years old, something like that. And the reason I'm using the 10-year-old mark is because something happened in my life that it changed me in a way for me to know what my potential was, but yet I had the potential that I knew what I was capable of earlier than that, but I didn't go into it until after this. Now, when I was small, and I'm talking about before 10 years old, I had this condition that, and I have never heard of it anyplace. I don't even know to this day if there's actually a name for it. But it was like, you know, like when you're out in the sun and you get sunburn and your skin wants to peel, and it'll just peel a little bit here, there. You know, you're picking, you're peeling. Not that kind of peeling that my skin used to do. What was going on with my skin was so rare that my mother took me to several doctors, and no one knew how to cure it, much less even to give it a name. So, this was back longer than like 52 years ago, because I'll be 62 in a couple of months. And so it was like before I was 10 that all of this happened, for years and years and years, up to about that time. My skin, I used to always wear long sleeve shirts and of course long pants. My skin used to peel like a snake would shed its skin. I know that sounds weird. The doctors didn't know how to treat it. They didn't know what to tell my mom, other than I can't do anything for her. But my skin would peel like the whole layers would come up, or just peel off. Mostly on my arms, but it did do it some on my legs also, but mostly my arms. This happened for the longest time. So my mom had special gifts, but I don't think she put it out there, because my mom had this gift of, and I may have mentioned this before, I don't know, but not really in detail. If anybody got burned, seriously burned, and they got to my mother within 30 minutes, she would do a prayer over the burn, and the burn would stop burning immediately. The pain would go away, and there would be no scarring. It would heal up and there would be no scarring. So my mom could do stuff, but she kept it to herself. Of course, you got to remember, way back, they thought of anybody with special gifts a different way. I guess that's why I don't like to label myself. So anyway, my mom could do this, and my mom also knew that after taking me to so many doctors that they weren't going to be able to help me, because that's pretty much what they said. They wouldn't be able to help me. So, by the way, I made some notes so that I wouldn't get sidetracked, even though I'm going to be all over the place. So my mother took me to a bruja. Now my mother's Hispanic. My grandparents are Hispanic. All on my mother's side are Hispanic. A lot of Aztec blood in me. And on my father's side, from up here in the mountains, he's got a lot of Cherokee on his side. My dad does. So I've got both Cherokee and Aztec from my mother's Hispanic side. So anyway, I just wanted to give you a little background about me, you know, and when I started practicing and such. Okay. So with my mom being able to have that ability, she also knew someone that she felt could help me. And so she took me to this lady. Now keep in mind, she took me to doctors and nobody could help me. So she took me to this lady. Now way back then, my Spanish was fluent. Not anymore, because I've been away from it for so long. I can understand a lot of Spanish, but not really speak it anymore. I've pretty much lost a lot of it. Even though my husband now, he loves for me to speak Spanish. But then he loves me anyway. Okay. So back to the lady that we referred to her as a bruja. She laid me on a table, and she had said a prayer over me. Now she's speaking in Spanish, but her prayers are very, very low. I could hear her speaking, but I couldn't make out the words. She was kind of doing it in silent, but you could tell she was doing a prayer. And then she did the egg cleansing. Of course, back then, I didn't know it was called an egg cleansing. Back then, I said she got an egg. And she rubbed it all over me. I wasn't running a fever or sick or anything other than my skin condition. She got that egg, rubbed it all over. Saying her prayer. Then she broke it into a glass of water, and the glass of water had been sitting on the table for a while, so it wasn't hot water, you know, it wasn't cold water from the refrigerator or anything like that. It was a glass of water that she had sitting there the whole time we went in, and you know, she talked to my mom. They were talking in Spanish back and forth. I guess my mom was telling her everything going on. So after she laid me on this table, and she did that with the egg, and then she broke the egg and put it in the glass. It wasn't like you see these days where you put the egg in the glass and, you know, you still see the yellow and you see the clear from, you see the yolk and then you see the white. Only it's like more clear, a little bit white throughout. And sometimes the little strings are in it and looks foggy and all this stuff. No, this egg was cooked. It was cooked as if she literally took it off the stove and dropped it in the cup. It was cooked. So I remember looking at it because I was scared to death because I didn't know what was going on. And after that, she said something to my mom, and then she got this branch, and it had a lot of leaves on it. Now thinking back, I'm thinking it might have been an olive branch, but that's just my thinking now of, you know, me collecting stuff. So she got this branch with the leaves on it, and she's saying her prayer, and she's rubbing it all over my body from head to toe. on both sides of me, front side, back side. And I'm laying on the table, you know. So she does all of this, and when she finishes, she talks to my mom again. They're talking in Spanish. I see my mom taking money out and paying her. We go on our way. From that moment on, I never once did it again. I never once, my skin didn't peel. It looked normal. Nothing ever again. My mother never needed to take me back to the doctor. Nothing. So at that time, it's almost like something, I don't want to say snapped in me, because prior to that, I could always feel that I had a gift to help people, to try to heal people, to try to make things that were wrong right. And the reason that I say that is because, and I have my notes here so I don't miss anything, but I was always able to see spirits. Was always gifted to see spirits, whether they were good, bad, whether they were animals, you know, humans, well, human form, full apparitions. Some of them I talked to didn't even know that they were spirits. Now I'm grouping spirits into like ghosts and stuff, all grouped in together. I'm sure there's technical words for the difference. I see them all as spirits. No matter what they are, I see them as spirits. Shadow spirits, you know, creatures that I can't even describe. Creatures that I don't even know how to describe some of the creatures. Some I have no idea what even category to put them in. And yes, I've seen aliens too, for those that wonder about the aliens. But I also only see them when they want me to see them. That's the thing. All of the spirits that I see, it's because they want me to see them. So when the spirits, when they appear in front of me, when they manifest in front of me, I see them first like, okay, if it's like a spirit on the side of the road we're driving past, I see the spirit at a distance. It's not like a person standing there. Always when they're on the side of the road and they have passed on, you know, been killed in an accident, gotten run over, whatever, that pertain to them in that place next to the road. And it might even be where there's a road, but where they got killed, the road wasn't even there yet. But that's where they happen to be appearing to me. Always they appear the same when it comes to next to the road, like a, almost like a funnel. Sometimes it's like a funnel, like a tornado. How it starts, like the bottom is small and the top is big. Sometimes it's the opposite. Sometimes it's big on the bottom, swirling, and then it goes smaller. The difference, I don't know. That's just the way that I see them manifesting. And then as I get closer to them, if they really want to get my attention, they will shoot out a freaking shock of energy. And normally if, like I'm driving, well, mostly if I'm with my husband and he's driving, you know, and I'll see him and I'll say, well, there's a spirit. And he'll be like, where is it? And I'll point out. And as I get closer, it just like it hits me, like I just like get a shock right through my whole body. Well, one time when that happened, my husband was driving with one hand and the console's in the middle, so I'm here and my husband's driving and we're both holding hands, you know, in the middle. As I get, and I didn't say anything to him, and I could see it as we're getting closer, because I don't always tell him when I see spirits. But anyway, we're going by, and as I'm getting closer, it wants to get my attention, and a lot of times I won't make eye contact because I see them so much, because I don't know, I guess they're drawn to me. They want me to notice them. And I didn't say anything, and I'm holding my husband's hand, and as we go by, he hollers, "What the hell was that?" And he goes, "Was that a spirit?" And I said, "Yes." And he got the, normally it'll shock me when they do that. When they try to get my attention, they'll send like a shock wave of energy. But since I was holding his hand, it went through me and hit him. So that's when he was like, "What the hell is that?" But even though he asked the question, he also knew, because he said, "Was that a spirit?" And I said, "Yes." I said, "We're already gone past. It's all good." So he said, "Why do they do that?" And I said, "They're trying to get my attention." So anyway, if they're spirits, like I said, I'm grouping them all together, whether it's shadow figures, spirits, whatever. Sometimes they look like little kids. I've even seen like newborn babies. But if I get a bad energy, a bad feeling, I won't make eye contact, because they'll like pop up here, pop up here, pop up, you know, whatever. And if I get the bad feeling, the bad energy, and if I make eye contact with them, then that's when they'll push it further. "Oh, she sees me. So let's see if I can communicate with her. Let me see if I can do this. Let me see if I can do that. Maybe I'll follow her home. She can see me." No. If it's a bad feeling that I get, I don't make eye contact at all. I tell my husband too, don't make eye contact, because now he's been around me so long, he's starting to see him now. And he called me one day. "I saw this little girl. I saw this little girl." Well, first he tried to call me, and where he was at, there's no reception. Where we're at, we don't get good reception at all. So he was trying to call me, but the phone, you know, kept hanging up. It'll ring one time and then stop. It's useless. He comes running in the house. "I saw a little girl. I saw a little girl. I saw a little girl." I said, "Yeah, I know." He said, "What do you mean you know?" I said, "I've seen her." He said, "What do you mean you've seen her? You've never told me you've seen her." I said, "I know. I don't tell you all the time when I see the spirits." He said, "What does she look like, and where was she?" So I told him exactly what she was wearing. I told him where she was at, and he said, "Yep." He said, "And as soon as I got close to her, she disappeared." I said, "Yeah, she's there quite often." In that area, a mother and her child was killed in a car wreck, and I think that was the little girl. And to not go to my notes right now, but to add on to that story, because a friend of mine kept asking me to go to her house because she felt something in her house. She didn't feel it was bad. She just felt something in her house. Well, to make a long story short, I told her who was in the house that the lady had passed away. She had red hair, and I explained everything, told her exactly where she died. And sure enough, that is where she died. She had her bed in that corner. She took me around the whole entire house, and I told her exactly where the lady was at, where I was picking up all of her energy. Turns out that's where she had died. That's where she had had her bed, and she died in her bed. So that was confirmed. But there was also a little girl looking in the window. And I told her, I said, she had her grandchild with her, and I said, "Give me the grandchild," because babies pick up stuff too. I said, "Give me the grandchild." So I'm holding the child, and I tell her, "Go around over here to this side. Here's my phone. Take my picture of me and the baby." I won't say the baby's name in case somebody's watching. "Take our picture. I want you to take our picture, but focus on the window behind us." So about the time she gets ready to take the picture, now the baby's picking it up also, because the baby wants to keep turning around to look that direction. But I'm holding him where he can't, because I didn't want to scare the spirit off. The spirit wouldn't come forward. So she takes the picture, and then I show her the little girl in the window. The little girl in the window, peeking in the window, it's a spirit little girl, was the same girl that's on the side of the road that I kept seeing. And after that incident, I never saw that little girl again. So I don't know if she followed me, if it was all meant to be a circle, that somehow the energy to my friend was saying, come to my house and tell me what you feel or what you're picking up. The little girl follows me, and maybe that's where she belonged. I don't know. But after that, of seeing the little girl in the window, she never appeared again on the side of the road. And I always look for her when I go through that area. And my husband always looks for her when he goes through that area. So since I can see all of this stuff, my husband said, why don't you he said one time, this was years back, several years back, why don't you put up some trail cameras? And since you can see the spirits outside, see, because I put that hedge prayer around my whole property. And I got to reach over there and move that off of my camera. The camera's going to move. It's eBay. Get off of there. Okay. It's in my way. So I could see spirits, and they wouldn't be on the property, but they would be on the edge of the property. Our property goes kind of in an L, and the other house is right on the corner of that property. So everything around that house picks up, because my cameras cover my entire property line. So whatever direction the cameras are facing, it picks up that whole entire area. So I always see a lot of spirits, because the house has a portal in it. A house that my brother used to live in for a very short time, all the way in the back side of the property, but it's off of my property, also has a portal in it. That whole road going way back into the holler, it's all haunted, and the woods back there is haunted. I know, because I went back there by myself one time, and I caught some stuff on my phone and some pictures and a sound that told me in a real raspy oldish voice, it said run, but I'm hard of hearing, and I didn't hear it. My phone cut off, the battery completely went dead, drained, and I didn't even know it until I was like, well, I guess I'll go back home, because I don't have nothing, no way to take pictures or nothing. I get home, I charge my phone up, I replay everything back, look at the pictures, and that's when I hear it. And I was like, holy shit. So anyway, now my husband is starting to see stuff. Oh, back to the camera. So with the cameras around the property line, it picks up all kinds of entities. So it's picked up the shadow people. It's picked up Western ghost, all blue. Like he's all blue. His hat is all blue. He's all blue. It's picked up sailors. It's picked up people from way, way back in time. It's picked up creatures about this far from our property line, like this. And it's like right there, but it can't cross because of my prayer. If I feel they're getting too close, I'll call upon my spirit guides to step in, my ancestors to step in. And I've got pictures of that too, where they have. So anyway, I'm just kind of giving you a little bit about myself. I'm still on page 1. I got 5 pages. I'll be here for a while. It'll probably take 3 days to download. It takes like 5 hours to download 20 minutes. Because it's horrible. Because it'll download And that's downloading with the Wi-Fi off. If I have the Wi-Fi on, it just doesn't download at all. It's weird. Okay, so I've covered that part. I've covered that part. I've covered this part. Hey, we're through one page. I'll tell you, I have to make notes because I'm just kind of all over the place. Okay. So I've always been an empath and feel people's happiness, sadness, sickness. I can see people that has heart issues or circulatory issues. So I hate it when I'm like in a store or like I worked retail. If I was on the register ringing somebody up, I would have to bite my tongue because I could see that they had like heart attack issues, that they were going to have heart attack issues. But I've learned my lesson because a few times I've said things to people. They don't know how to take it, and they get pissed and they get mad. And they're like yelling at me. Well, if you're working in a place, you can't do that. So I just bite my tongue. But I can always tell that just by looking at their face. So if you covered the whole body and just let me see their head, you know, I can tell them. But I keep that to myself. But I can see that. So all of this really started, like I say, way back when I was a kid. How I started finding out that I could help people was if I was someplace with my mom or something like that, and the grown-ups would be talking and you know, saying that they were sick and they've been to the doctor can't help them, there's nothing they can do, it's just a matter of time. And I sit there listening, and then when we would go back home, I would do a prayer for them, and then come find out later, my mom would be talking to them, and I would ask my mom about them, and they say, oh yeah, she's fine now. I don't know what happened, but she's fine. It's like, really? And I was just little. So after doing this with several people, I started wondering, I wonder if I had anything to do with that. I wonder, you know, because I would pray. I always prayed, you know, to God, to the, you know, my spirits. My spirits, that was, my phone's wobbling. You know, any spirits, any angels that I would say, I know I have guides looking after me, if you know, if you can step in and also look after them. Well, I started finding out there was a little trend there that they would start getting better. Then I started taking it a step further and praying for them before they started saying that the doctors couldn't do anything. And then they would get better, but they were still going to the doctor. And then I thought, well, that ain't going to work, because how do I know if it was me that helped them or if it was the doctor that cured them? So I stopped doing all prayers for people unless I knew for sure that they said that they're not going to go back to the doctor no more, that, you know, they're just waiting their time out. So then I would do prayers. And a lot of them, not all of them, but a pretty good 80% of them would get better. Then I started doing so many of them that after a while, I only started praying for certain people. That was kind of rough on my side, but because I started noticing that the more prayers I was doing for people, that I was starting to not only get run down, but I started taking on their illness. So if they were, you know, if they were told that they just had a little time to live for whatever reason, if I did too many prayers, then I started feeling all of those symptoms. And for a day, 2 days, I would be useless. And I would start having the feelings, or, you know, sugar issues, blood issues, high blood pressure issues, all of these issues, I was taking on their symptoms. So then I started thinking, I can't keep this up. So I started picking and choosing. And every once in a while, I would do a prayer for someone, because as the time went on, as the years went on, I started picking up a reputation of someone that maybe could do a prayer and help them. So I started having people coming to me and asking me. Sometimes I would have to say, I'm sorry, I can't. I've done too many of them, or I'm not doing them right now. You know, because after a while it starts to get scary if you think you're not going to get out of it. Because if you're sick for a day or two, you're like, how do I know I'm even going to get better? Because I would like literally get sick and get drained. Not just energy drained, but physically my body would take on whatever their issues were. So I started just every now and then saying, I'm no longer going to say prayers for anybody unless they actually come to me and ask me personally. So if someone came to me and said, you know, my grandmother is sick, or my mother is sick, or my aunt is sick, can you do a prayer for them? My answer was no. If I'm to do a prayer for them, they're going to have to ask me themselves. Because I started finding out through the years also, because when I was a kid, you know, my prayers were everybody's prayers. I didn't see any difference. Well, as time goes on and time changes, and you start seeing that there are so many different religions out there, some people don't want to be prayed for. So it's like, just because you want me to pray for your aunt don't mean your aunt wants me to pray for her. She might see me as something evil. She might not want me to pray for her. She may only want to do prayers of who she believes in, you know, her religion. So then I got to the point that I was like, no, if somebody wants me to pray for them, they can come and ask me to pray for them. That way I don't have that issue of you know, saying no because, you know, you think I'm evil, or you think I'm a witch, or you think I'm doing witchcraft, or whatever, you know. Well, then one of my friends that is a witch, and she will probably tell you she's a witch, because, I mean, she's a really, really good soul. So she, let me fix this real quick. She was talking to me, and I told her, I said, I've gotten to the point that I really don't want to do prayers anymore because I'm getting too sick. She says, you have to learn how to let it go. And I said, what do you mean? So she taught me how to, when I did a prayer for someone and I took that illness from them, that pain from them, she taught me how to not keep it. If I took it from them, what am I doing? I'm bringing it to me. So the whole time I'm taking it from them and I'm bringing it to me. So she taught me, when you do that, when you take it from them, you have to package it up. Just like you're packaging a package to ship off. She said, you package that pain up. Package it up. Just like you would take it to the post office. You package it up. You go outside and you release it to the universe. So that's what I started doing. Every time I did a prayer for someone, I take that package, I bundle it up, I box it up, and I release it to the universe to do with it what they feel that they need to do. So I started doing that for a while. So then I switched through the years. Let me see where I'm at. So I switched through the years, and instead of taking that pain from them, that illness from them, I just started doing prayers like I'm doing now. I mostly will make the items, you know, package the oils, package the herbs, you know, and then through word of mouth, people would ask me, well, what do you have that I can, you know, use, or what prayer or what herbs or whatever. So I started doing it that way. Just recently, just this past year, I got onto Etsy, 2021, because people were saying, how come you don't have it on Etsy? I'm like, what's Etsy? I'm not computer literate. I'm not tech literate. I know nothing about that stuff. I got on eBay first just to put some stuff on eBay, and then they were like, well, why don't you put your other stuff from your prayers and stuff on Etsy? So they were explaining to me what Etsy was, and so now, even though I will do some prayers every so often, you know, like the prayer workings in here, I mostly will sell the stuff I got back there, or I use them for my prayers. And so that's kind of where I'm at now. I just kind of felt like, my husband says, well, why don't you do a prayer for yourself and make yourself better? But I kind of felt like, since I was given a gift to help people, I felt like if I use it on myself, then I was being selfish. Which also, too, my friend said, well, that's just kind of silly. How you going to help other people if you can't even help yourself? How you going to help other people if you can't keep yourself healthy? So I was like, you know what? Yeah. So I do prayers now for myself. And thanks to my friend, she's all the way in South Africa. And I guess that's why I like to, when I do prayers and stuff, and the way people feel, I always say religion gets in the way of a lot of people's things, their beliefs. But if you have faith, faith brings you together. Religions, I see, separates people. Just because you're one religion doesn't mean that you're right and I'm wrong. Just because my religion is one thing doesn't mean I'm right and you're wrong, or you're wrong whichever way around. You know what I mean? But if you have faith, faith brings everything together. Because it doesn't matter what your belief system is. If you have faith, that's what works. Workings will not work. Prayer workings will not work without your faith. My husband always says, my wife can help you, but you have to believe in her and you have to have faith. And I always tell him, when I do my prayers, I call upon my angels, you know, my ancestors, my guides, my guardians, sometimes my spirit animal. I say, if you want me to incorporate who you want me to call on, I will. And that way, I've got mine working and I've got yours working. And I will bring theirs into it. So, yeah, I've done this for a long, long time. People change in years. Their pathway changes in years. I don't like labeling. People's called me so many names. Good names. Some people's asked me if I'm a witch, if I'm a good witch, if I'm a bad witch. Am I a dark witch? A black witch, meaning black as in the dark side. I don't like labels. I don't like labeling myself. I used to also go by spiritual healer. And just that name alone, spiritual healer, people would back away. Why? I don't know. I have no idea. But it's a label. Now I just go by Mystical Love and Light. And that kind of just incorporates anything and everything into one. So people ask me if I do dark workings or black workings that they say, because they have no clue how things work. Well, I see it this way. I'm just a spiritual being. I'm just me. I'm a solitaire, shamanic, eclectic, green, hereditary, empath, spiritual being. That would be me. I'm also an artist, by the way. I use crystals and magic with my gift. So the way that I see it is, with the prayers and who I call upon, some people might just need a healing prayer. Some people might need a love prayer. Some people might need something for pain. Some people come to me for really, really bad things that are happening to them. And it's all love and fluff, but you have to know the other side. You can't know just one side and not the other side, because things are going to happen, shit's going to happen, and you're going to need to take care of situations. So I 100% believe in the karma effect. Yay, karma. And I believe in the boomerang effect. So if someone is doing you wrong, I'm not talking about gossiping and stuff. If someone is physically abusing you or your children, if someone is threatening your life, if someone is beating on you, someone is sexually abusing you, meaning you or your children, and it's not always a female, it could be a male too. Because males do get abused too. Those are the ones that need to be dealt with in a harsher way. Yes, I will do those workings. Yes, I know how to do those workings. And those are the ones that need to be dealt with severely. They need to feel what they're putting out. So in order to know good, you need to know the other. Bad. I don't call it dark, because sometimes when I'm talking to the universe, I might be calling upon the dark side of the universe for better results. Not dark as in evil. If you think of the universe as a whole, and you think how much light is in the universe, the light might be coming from the stars. The light might be coming from planets. The light might be coming from Earth, where we all have lights on, and from way out, far away in the distance, you can see those lights. That's not very much light if you think about it, because the only way you're seeing that light is because there's such vast darkness. So when you look up in the sky at nighttime, you see those stars, the little lights. But all in between those stars, all between those little lights, is darkness. That's the dark. So sometimes when I do prayers, I call upon the assistance of the darkness of the universe, because it's more vast. I will get better results for those kind of workings, because I want it to work faster. Not because it's dark and there's a dark working happening. It's because there's more of it. It's more abundant. Therefore, it will work faster. So you're looking at the light. Remember, I'm not talking about good. I'm talking about the light itself. There's this much light and this much darkness. So when I want something to happen really fast, I will call upon the dark part, the darkness of the universe. Hopefully that will make some sense to you. So you have to know how both sides work. So many people, which all my whole life, they're like, oh my God, every time I see you, you're smiling, you're always so happy. Yes, I have a bad, mean, pissed off streak in me. When I get upset, don't, you know what, with me. Don't mess with me. Have I done ever anything to anybody? Yes. Did they deserve it? Yes. Did I see the results? Yes. Did it come back on me? Hell no. Because it was justified. It was justified to the effect of when my late husband was in a motorcycle wreck. See, before Lee, I was married before, and my late husband, we were married 34 years. But he had a motorcycle wreck, and he had his leg severed. And this one person, without saying anything else, in case there's certain people watching it, let's just say the same thing happened to her. Yes, I did it. My husband was in a coma for 2 months. And this person was nothing but pure evil. So yes, the same thing happened. She got back what she dished out. So yeah. So anyway, I don't do anything to anybody that where it's not justified. If it's justified, no problem. No issues. Nothing. What is done is done. If you don't want shit coming to you, don't dish it out. No matter where you're at. No matter if you're in the store. No matter where you're at. If you don't want crap coming back to you, don't dish it out. Because you never know who you're confronting. You never know what you're dealing with. Some people push and push and push because that is their nature. They get off on being mean to people, hateful to people. They think nothing of it. They think they're above other people. They're not. We are all equal. We are all human beings and we are all equal. So anyway, that's just a little bit about me, a little bit of my life, kind of where I started, kind of where I'm at now. So just mostly now, I'll do workings and keep my prayers up and keep my family together and safe. And yeah, that's me. All smiles. I am 99% happy, a happy-go-lucky person. But if you mess with my family, look out. Blessed to be. Now let's see if I can turn this off without shaking y'all everywhere.